Okay.
We acknowledge the fact that the FDA is not the perfect body overall. We also know today that the FDA is the one that approves the medicines and all of the foods and stuff that we do acknowledge that are okay to use in the body. That is why we think that the FDA is good enough, maybe not perfect, but good enough to approve the science and stuff behind the medicines and food. What we are going to say is that today, when everyone has the ability to publish whatever they want, and the mainstream media has no regulation whatsoever, they publish very, very stupid arguments that should not be in the public sphere. The main reason that they should not be in the public sphere is because they have actual damage, dead babies, and not in an actual way, not just as a figure of speech. What we are saying today is A, we're going to explain exactly how we are going to do it. Second, what do we think that the problem that we have currently, what is going to happen? And then, why is it justified to us to limit the freedom of speech, of press, and all of the other stuff that are going to happen? First, what is it going to happen? Reporters or any media that are going to happen are going to come to the FDA, please approve us this citation. They're going to be very specific, and they need to quote what the FDA gave me as a response. For example, the difference between correlation versus causation, and all of the other stuff that are extremely important in the context of what I publish as a reporter or as an argument. Any clarifications on that? Great. So, we know that we cannot control what every idiot is publishing in their own Facebook page. But we do know that even today, the mainstream media is the main consumption for scientific, food, and all of the other stuff that we are going to approve by the FDA. Therefore, even if someone will publish that in their own Facebook page, they will not be as a good hype as it comes from the mainstream media. We see in recent example from Israel, the video about the vaccines that were published in Russia, we saw that it created, and all of the references that were made in the social media came exactly to the mainstream media. This is why we think that the mainstream media that wants to have sexy arguments and want to have all of those sexy topics that they need to appeal, and all of those controversial arguments that are not controversial in the scientific sphere, but they are controversial and I can persuade them by rhetorics and stuff. We think that that is something that we should change in the public sphere altogether. That's why we think that most of the people are consuming their knowledge and information and all of the other stuff from about science and food from the mainstream media. This is why this will narrow it down, narrow down all of the stupid stuff that they are still publishing. What we are going to say, A, we think that the main social thing that we are going to have with it is to prevent spreading wrong and very dangerous information to the public. We can see that the example that was in the context slide as a good example for that. We see the vaccines, we see the tobacco industry that used to say there is no correlation between tobacco and cancer and blah, 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 blah. We think that today, if they want to publish that statement in the media, they would need the FDA approval, although it was a scientific fact and consensus that cancer is created from smoking. Because of that, because we control the public sphere and no regulation whatsoever, we were able to postpone all of those influences for a long term. Because of that, because we think that today people are trying to confirm the knowledge that they already believe in, we cannot have the mainstream media publishing wrong information and very disturbing information about what is the results or other scientifically sound arguments overall. Just 1 second. What we do say is that it's dangerous for two reasons. A, it's dangerous to the people themselves, that they believe in themselves, that they believe in that fear. We do not necessarily think that that is going to change, because if they will still see the Facebook page, this is very important. But we do think it will narrow down the people, because we think that it will still, all of the consumption, as we said before, but the main problem is that it causes the third-party harm. For example, if people do not take the vaccines because of that stuff, even those who are vaccinated are still getting the effect because of that wrong information that they were getting. Babies are still dying because of the wrong information that I didn't even choose to consult. Yes, you know.
Yeah, but surely the mainstream media also publishes good articles that debunk all this kind of stuff. They say the vaccines are good, they say that tobacco is bad. The mainstream media has all these kind of opinions there.
Yes, we acknowledge that, but this is why I think that we have said that some people are always trying to re-embrace their own opinion, therefore they will look for the wrong information in mainstream media. If the wrong information will not be in mainstream media, there is less likelihood for those people to accept all of those. They will need to actually look for the Facebook pages. They will need to look. It will not be in a push version. They will be in a take version, which I think that is very important and going to change what they think about science. Why do you think that how we are going to tackle this hype? We're going to tackle this hype. We think that once we have less people that are convinced, it's not in the mainstream media, it's not in the general sphere, or it's not the consensus, or even some of the consensus in the public area, we have more chance of fight this wrong information that is being distributed to our civilians and cause dead babies. Today, when we have when we don't have any regulation whatsoever, just as I said in the beginning, any idiot can publish stuff that are irrelevant, not true, and more importantly, out of context. There is a difference between, there is correlation between taking vitamins and becoming healthier, and as opposed to because you take vitamins, you are healthier. We think that today companies are trying to create causation, where we have correlation with the new, in order to increase their sales and stuff, with the new mechanisms, they won't be able to do so. Therefore, we will have less wrong details in our public sphere. That is why you call it to propose.